the Titans, the division is ours. I don't care what Houston did yesterday. They're going to go get their Letterman jackets again. The Indianapolis Colts are 2-6 against the Titans since Pat McAfee came up here and did his wrestling announcement. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, they haven't had back-to-back winning seasons since I was a senior in high school.
What's up, Titans fans, and welcome to the Titans Fan Battle Podcast, brought to you by the Fan Battle Sports Network. I'm your host, Maximus Titan Fan, and as always, my co-host here, who seems to be having some technical difficulties. Can you hear me, Flame? Yeah. All right. Introduce yourself, man.
It's Flame Douglas, man. #1 Titans fan in the nation.
All right. And our special guest tonight, Cortland, as you know, has been on our show a couple times. He actually told me I needed to get with this guy and learn this guy's name. So I have been. I've been studying a little bit. Mike Patton, touring the AFC South. You go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know where they can find you at, Mike.
Well, of course, I'm Mike Patton from Touring the AFC South. Definitely a pleasure to come on the show. Of course, you can find Touring the AFC South on all your listening platforms: Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're there. YouTube as well. So, hey, it's my pleasure to be on the show.
Hey, thank you, man. It's our honor. Tonight, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to try to be quick about it, but also, there's a lot of stuff to get to because a lot of stuff has happened lately. First, we're going to talk about training camp. It started yesterday with the rookies. We got Will Levis signed just in time, so now all our rookies are signed. Everybody's at camp. That's a nice thing to have. The veterans are coming in tomorrow. So what matchups are you guys looking at, or who wants to go first? Let's start with that.
Let's let I guess Mike Patton go first, man. What you looking at, Mike?
Go ahead, Mike. What you got?
All right. The matchup I'm looking at that, probably many have glossed over, but is actually there, especially now with DeAndre Hopkins signed, is the slot receiver position. Are you looking at Chris Moore, which is the veteran they brought over from the Houston Texans to the Tennessee Titans, versus Kyle Phillips, a guy that's electric with his quickness and can get open on anybody, but can't stay healthy? So is it going to be the veteran that had one of his best years ever in the NFL, or is it going to be the guy that can get open but can't stay healthy? Which one capitalizes on the opportunity? It's going to be interesting to watch that battle.
Yeah, actually, that's one I really haven't thought of that much. And to be honest, you're right. Yeah. I've glossed over it, but Chris Moore is a really smooth receiver. He's really smooth in his routes. I don't really know how else to explain it, but he's not really jerky. He just looks like he's effortless when he's doing it. I could see him as a slot receiver really easy, a lot better than an outside wide receiver. So that actually makes a lot of sense. And yeah, the question mark on Kyle Phillips clearly is, can he stay on the field?
Anything right. It's going to be interesting.
All right. Well, who you got, Flame?
Man, I'm looking, probably everybody. I'm looking at the second string quarterback position, man. It's either going to be Malik or it's going to be Will Levis. And me personally, I think it's going to go to Will Levis. I feel like the Titans don't draft somebody that high to have him playing third string quarterback or to have him, sitting for a while. And I think it's his time. I think it's his time to be the backup to Tannehill. I think he's going to sit back, learn from Tanny, and I think he'll definitely beat out Malik Willis in this quarterback battle. But I'm excited to see it. I want to see how much better Malik has gotten from his rookie season, how much he has learned, because last year was times I feel like he looked lost out there. So I just want to see Malik just look like a pro quarterback, and I want to see if Levis is gonna, take his spot and show everybody that big arm he got, and maybe be our future quarterback.
All right. Anything you want to add to that, Mike?
Well, I'll say this. You said they don't draft a guy that high just to sit him on the bench. Well, they did draft Malik Willis high too. So both of them actually got drafted pretty high. So they're honestly, from what I've heard and been told, basically Malik Willis has looked better than Will Levis, which is supposed to happen anyway because Malik Willis has been here a little longer than Will Levis. So, in my opinion, I think that battle, if it's even to me, then it's going to go to Will Levis. If it's not even, it's going to go to Malik Willis, which I don't think it's going to be even. I think that Malik Willis is going to be the backup. And I think what's going to happen is just because now you can carry the 3 quarterbacks because of the emergency quarterback thing, I think that, Will Levis will be there. He'll be the guy that holds the clipboard, pays attention, and kind of learns on the fly. And then next year, going into the season, either they cut Malik or they basically have a battle for the starting quarterback position, in my opinion. Or, who knows? They could bring Tannehill back. But, just kind of giving you what I see going into the future,
Yeah, I'll say this as a watcher of Mike Vrabel over the years and just basically watching what he does with players. He pretty much is going to start whoever he thinks is best or, have second whoever he thinks is best. And he said coming into the training camp that it was Malik Willis's job to lose, basically. That Malik was number 2 and Will Levis was going to have to take that from him. He obviously didn't show that in pre-camp. So hopefully, like you said, hopefully our second-round draft pick, who was supposed to be a first-round talent, does show that in training camp and does take over the number 2 spot or whatever. But to be honest, kind of with you, Mike, I'm still rooting for Malik, man. And I don't know why he gets so much hate because he was never meant to be. I mean, we knew coming out of Liberty he was just a raw talent and had no pro system. I mean, he's a complete mirror opposite of what Will Levis is. So for him to be at a higher level right now than Will Levis is, I think it just surprises a lot of people because they expect Will Levis just to come in because he's a pro style and he's done, exactly what we do in a run heavy offense. But it just goes to show you when with an off season, with all the language and stuff, when you understand the football better, you know what I mean? The football knowledge starts kicking in. The game starts slowing down for you. I mean, players talk about it all the time, but that's real. That really does happen.
Yeah.
One thing I want to also throw in there as well. A lot of people, like you said, expected him to come in and be this awesome, great quarterback that's going to unseat Ryan Tannehill and set the world on fire. But that wasn't realistic, like you said. Another thing that you talked about him not being ready to be, an NFL quarterback yet. He was a one-read quarterback when he was at Liberty. When you come to the NFL, you got to read the entire field. That's a huge adjustment for a quarterback, and people don't understand that. And the thing that irritated me the most is that so many people were like, "Oh, he's just horrible. He's this. He's this." You don't factor in that he's trying to get used to a system where he's reading the whole field. He's either one read and go is what he had in Liberty under Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze, aka the man that coached from a hospital bed in the booth. But but it's just it's apples and oranges, and he has to get used to the NFL game in terms of that. Now he's used to it a little bit more, and from what I saw from him last year in camp, he went from he kind of changed his throwing motion, even though he probably won't admit it. He changed his throwing motion. I saw it, but basically he got better. He picked up things better, and just he just needs the playing time to continue to grow and get better. It just is what it is. You can't mimic it. You can't bottle it up. You can't do different things. He has to play to get better. It just is what it is.
I'm definitely.
I have to agree with Kyle here. I hope that neither one of them play this season.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want Tannehill as the starter because there's a clear gap between Tannehill and the other two. So
for sure.
Let's just make that clear before, anybody gets in here saying crazy stuff. So, of course, the other thing we've got to talk about, and I know a lot of people, are going to be upset by this, but look, I can't help it, man. Look, I told a Jaguars fan, actually, it was Jaguars Fan Battle Podcast. They're the Jaguar segment of our sports network. But their Twitter page had posted something about the Oiler jerseys, and the Titans are stealing it from the Houston and all that. And I try not to get into battles with people, but I was annoyed after seeing this for, almost a week or 2 weeks now. And so I got on there and basically just said, look, if you're going to throw some hate somewhere, throw shade at your city for getting rid of your team and your franchise. Okay, don't throw shade at us because we wanted it, and now it's ours. And the fact is, it's ours. Deal with it. You know what I mean? It's just like last season. The Jaguars beat us in the last game. Deal with it. I mean, it's terrible. Was it a fumble? I don't know. I don't. Just deal with it. It's over. It's in the past. Move on. So that's the way I feel about the jerseys. Just had to say that before we get into how sweet they are. Oh, wait. Oh, crap. I forgot about my training camp battle. I totally skipped over my own training camp battle.
I was wondering about that. I was like, wow. Did you have one?
I'm sorry, man. Next? So, all right. So, my bad. Actually, I hate to say this, but it's my own boy. I'm a Georgia fan. That's my peeps. And Monty Rice, man. I think, honestly, there is a linebacker there that is primed to take his spot. And he was actually brought in specifically by Rand Carthon from the 49ers, I think, specifically to be in that spot next to Aziz Al-Shaair, because Aziz is more of like a run, he's quick sideline to sideline. He's going to hit you real hard. That's how he's going to get you in coverage, is he's going to dislodge the ball from you. He's not going to break the ball up. But there is a guy named Ben Neiman who we also picked up that is really good at that. Like ecstatically good at that. He's not the best run blocker though. So, but when you pair him with Aziz as a run blocker, or you have like a nickel package with maybe Elijah Molden in there also, or something like that, that gives you all kinds of wiggle room. You know what I mean? When you got the two different types of inside linebackers there. That's my battle. Any thoughts?
I got some thoughts. As far as the thoughts on that one, I mean, I don't think necessarily it's a battle between those two. I actually think that Monty Rice and Aziz are probably going to start together, to be honest. I think that's what they're going to end up happening, because I think Monty Rice has had some years in the system. The biggest thing with him is just to make sure he's healthy, because, he didn't come into the season last year to be healthy. I mean, coming into the last season healthy, I should say. Even though Neiman is a talented linebacker, I don't think he's ready just quite yet. I mean, they thought the guy from Ole Miss was going to come in and be a guy as well, and that didn't necessarily happen off top either. He got injured too. So, I think that Monty Rice will definitely end up being the guy, and I think that I'm going to say this now. I think Aziz is going to be an potential All-Pro linebacker this year for the Titans.
Okay.
I agree. You look at him in the 49ers system, and he's already good. Now you give him to Mike Vrabel, who is like, he's like a linebacker. He just takes linebackers from Play-Doh and turns them into amazing linebackers. I mean, you look at every linebacker who's left in the last 3 or 4 seasons, and they're all terrible wherever they went. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why people can't get that. That's why it makes me so upset that Monty Rice isn't as good as I wanted him to be, because, dude, you are killing me with that audio.
And you got to excuse outside. It's storming in Nashville.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
what's going on. All right. All right. Well, see,
Yeah.
I am not in Nashville. I am like about 3-hour drive from Nashville, east.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it's beautiful here still right now.
Oh, well,
Sorry.
storms are coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I guess I know what I look forward to. All right. So, and I don't know how I forgot this either, but the biggest thing I wanted to talk about tonight is the fan lottery system for the training camp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody knows I don't like to talk negatively about our team or our franchise because I love it. I absolutely bleed two-tone blue. However, I think this is a disservice to the fans. I understand if you don't want to open it back up to the general public, you know, like you did before. You know, maybe have some kind of like fan lottery or something like that. I don't know. But the fact that you have to be a season ticket holder and then you have to win the lottery, it just seems, I don't know. It just seems like you're doing a disservice to your fans. As a fan, I used to come to the training camps every year. It used to get me close to the players. I felt like I was getting to know the people, the players as people, not just, you know, and I've met a lot of cool fans there too, to be
Yeah.
honest. I've met a lot of really cool Titans fans there and hooked up with them on social media and stuff like that. So it just kills me that, you know, along with the caravan, have been taken away since COVID, you know, and I wish they would come back. I don't know if they're still saying it's a COVID issue or what the deal is, but I just wish that Tennessee Titans would bring it back.
I've got a thought there for you,
Go
actually.
ahead.
You know, one thing I did notice, and I don't know if many, you know, from the outside looking in notice, is that the Titans facility has changed. It's got a lot of a facelift. They've got a lot of construction going on.
Oh yeah.
And where the actual stands used to be, where fans used to be, there's actually a building there now. So, you know, where that is basically where the stands used to be. So, in that aspect, I kind of understand why they have a lottery system, because they have limited space to actually bring people out there. Now, could they potentially do more things, like maybe bring stands or in there or things like that? You know, potentially they could do that. But just looking at the limited space they have, that's probably why that's there. Not necessarily because, you know, of COVID or anything like that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think that just sucks. You know, I used to, like you said, Max, like that. I used to look forward to, you know, going to the training camps, meeting all the fans. You know, that's actually how I got this jersey signed by Kevin Byer. Like, it puts you right there with the players. Like, it kind of give you like feel like a, like, you know, you, I see you, Max.
I
You
mean,
know,
yeah, dude, that's how you that's every single one of those was at a training camp. Every
yeah,
single one of them,
yeah, and I mean,
or a
so
Titans caravan, one or the
So
other.
so now if you don't win the lottery, I mean we losing that. And I, you know, I understand what Mike was saying with all the construction they've been doing down there, because they have done a lot of construction. They said Baptist Sports Park is really nice now. You know, it's really got an upgrade. And that's cool. You know, I love that for the players. I love that for, you know, when we trying to you know, recruit players to come to Tennessee and play. You know, we got a nicer facility now, but they got to work out a better system than that. I don't really think that's it. But hey, man, whatever's
Yeah,
coming.
and you know, I got to give props where props are due. You know, Amy Adams Strunk, you know, she's done a lot to improve this team since she's been here. I just this is just one aspect that if I could ever sit down with her, I'd be like, you know, as a fan, this one aspect, one of these, you know, just give me one of the two. I don't care if you can't do the training camp thing because of cramped space or something like that. I understand that. Just do the Titans caravan again or something. You know what I mean? Just tour around the places like where I live. I live right outside of Knoxville, which is, like I said, about 3.5 hours away from Nashville. So for me to get to Nashville it takes a long time anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I was willing to do that for, you know, I would even be willing to pay a fee or whatever. But I understand if it's cramped space, just come, you know, do something more with the fans to interaction. Fan interaction is what I'm going for, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe pre-game fan interaction or something like that, or post-game. I don't know.
I totally get it. I totally get it. And, you know, just looking at the space that they have there, you know, could they potentially put like some bleachers? Maybe not quite as big and as grand as they once were over there. Could they potentially put, you know, some stands there? Yeah, they could potentially do that. It'd be a little cramped, but yeah, they could potentially do that. So it's just I guess it's something that maybe they have to figure out if they want to go back in that direction again. But if not, you know, it is what it is where they are. But you know, I totally understand you know, the missing of that feeling, because I've been out there actually in both times. I was out there when it was, you know, the stands and, you know, the fans and everything, and I actually got to meet you know, I think it was back when who was here? When Ken Wisenhunt was here. I believe I went out there then. Right. And then after that, I went out there pretty recently as well. So I've been in both instances. So I definitely understand in terms of the feel and, you know, what it looks like and all those different things from, you know, both aspects of you know, the Titans aspect and the fan aspect of, you know, things out there.
Yeah, hey, that's really awesome that you can see it from, or you've seen it from both sides.
Both sides, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so now we'll get on to the other aspect, and you've already heard my rant about it, you know, and we've got one of them. I don't know if he's still watching or not, but we've got Josh here. He's one of the Jaguar fan battle guys, but yeah, he's.
Can I ask him something?
You go for it.
Go ahead.
Why is it his concern? Shouldn't he be worried about the Jacksonville Jaguars and if they're going to show up again this year? No offense to Jacksonville. I mean, I covered the whole of the division, so I talk about every single team. But to me, you know, Jacksonville, you know, the thing with Jacksonville is showing up consistently year to year, because we remember when the Jacksonville Jaguars went to the AFC Championship game with Jalen Ramsey and that crew. The next year they weren't near there. So, you know, the biggest thing I think that maybe Jacksonville may not worry about is just worry about the consistency year to year.
See, now I think they actually smelling themselves, because they actually have a good quarterback. So they're on a real high right now, and we really, you know, you can't tell them nothing. They're convinced that they got the best quarterback in the division, which may be true, but
that is true. That is true. Come on, now.
I mean, but at the end of the day, you still the Jaguars, bro. Like your front office still got to get it together in some spots. You're not the best at every position. So
Jason McCourty said it best in our intro. They haven't won back-to-back seasons since he was a senior in high school.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
So until you win back-to-back seasons, you know, show up.
Just chill.
Yeah. Show up, man. Show up. But yeah, that's actually a good question that Cortland brought up there. You know, the Colts are technically the Baltimore, you know, they were the Baltimore Colts. I mean,
pretty much.
That's a very good question there, Cortland.
You could say they were throwbacks every game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really could.
Love you, blue.
All right. So let's look at some of this awesome drip that we got. These new threads. I like this. This is something that one of the guys did that I thought was really nice. So I stole it and said, I asked him first, and he said, "Yeah, of course you can." And I took this straight off the Titans page, but I really like this, and I know, you know, like I said, I wasn't trying to start anything, but I've been listening to it for a week and a half, and I just can't take it anymore. And this is the Titans Fan Battle podcast, okay? So we are in battle with 3 other teams. So they're not going to like this picture, but I'm sorry. There it is. Oh, my God. Look how big his hands are on that helmet.
Man, he finally get to put on the Oilers helmet and jersey, and he doing it in Tennessee. Feels good.
Yes,
And
it does.
You know what would be the funniest part? I mean, I'm not going to say funny, but it would be interesting is if they wore these throwbacks against the Houston Texans.
They
If they wore
have.
the throwbacks against, they did that, that would be the ultimate slap in the face to that entire organization if they did that. I'd be like, wow.
They came out and said that they're not gonna wear them on the road. They're gonna wear them at home. So it's gonna be 2 home games. And that was the other big question that I had along with the oil, after we talked about how sweet they looked and all that, because they do look pretty sweet. And they were on Good Morning Football, if you watch that. Jason McCourty, the whole crew was talking about how nice they looked, and we're two or three of them were wearing jerseys, and actually they do look decent for Oiler jerseys. I'll give them that. I really wanted the black jersey, but whatever. Everybody's been hashing on me.
I'll tell you this. When it comes to a jersey, you had a better chance of getting the Oilers Love You Blue jerseys than you ever have of getting a red jersey or a black jersey from the Titans. I mean, I've been screaming. I remember I had a red Steve McNair jersey when I was a kid. And I used to always wonder, when are they going to wear this jersey? And they never wore it. And honestly, I don't ever see them wearing it.
Unbelievable, bro. I have that jersey. I had that jersey and a Javon Curse same year, the red, full-on jersey or whatever. Yeah. And I gave the Steve McNair one to a buddy of mine or whatever because he went to a Titans game with me. And he's not a Titans fan, so I was like, here, man, wear my jersey. And then, kind of dropped him off with the jersey on and then just never got it back.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's all right, man. I don't mind. I told him to keep it. Shout out Eric. He's a good buddy of mine. It's no big deal.
I really hated that we didn't wear them.
Yeah, I love that. And the defensive coordinator. Back when John, what's his name? Jim Stewart. Is that right? Jim Stewart. Am I saying that right? Jim Schwartz. Sorry.
Jim Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Yeah, back when Schwartz was our defensive coordinator, he always used to wear that red hat. And I went nuts over it. I went absolutely bananas over it. It's the first time I'd ever seen one, and I went bananas over it. I wanted one so bad. I couldn't find them anywhere. So I started just telling everybody, I want a red Titans hat. I want a red Titans hat. And my mom, out of nowhere, shout out Mom, comes out and just, here's the Titans red hat. I found it, at some yard sale. It was brand new, still had the tags on it and everything. I was like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
Big shout out to Mom. Yeah. But sorry, we're getting off on a crazy tangent here, but what is the other team we're going to play against at home with the Oiler jerseys on and why?
That's a good question.
Actually, we need to look to see what game is the homecoming game. Because I'm pretty sure the homecoming game, they're going to wear those Love You Blue jerseys during that game. Sure. So that's one game right there. Whatever homecoming is, it's going to be Warren Moon and all those are going. All those the veterans and the older players, they'll all be in town, and they're going to wear those Love You Blue jerseys. I bet they wear the Love You Blue jerseys for that game.
Homecoming in Houston. That's when we need to pull them out.
I'm wondering. I heard somebody say Atlanta. They were going to wear them against Atlanta.
I seen that too.
I could understand that just because of the kind of significance of Atlanta to the Titans in terms of when they played in Atlanta last. They kind of had they had the other jerseys on when they played in Atlanta. They also played the Super Bowl in Atlanta with the other jerseys as well. So I can understand maybe the significance there, but I don't know. Other than that, I don't understand why they would wear them versus Atlanta. Unless it's a Halloween, unless they're wearing it because it's Halloween weekend. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
You bring up the best argument to my answer because I thought I had nailed it because but you bring up the best argument. Homecoming is the perfect time to wear them.
Oh yeah.
If that's not the Houston game, then absolutely that's when they should probably pull them out and wear them. But technically our England game is slated as a home game.
Now,
the Ravens are a pretty big rival you know, back when we used to play in the same division, you know, this is for the old school fans, you know, back
AFC
when we used to
Central.
play. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember those days. Ray Lewis, oh man, against Eddie George, that was so sweet to watch those two men go up against each other.
I hope they don't waste them in London. Nah, we need to have these on at Nissan in front of our fans.
That's a primetime game. It's also, like I said, in London, and it's technically slated as a home game, and it would be against a rival. I think it's a good choice, but I think Mike nailed it with the homecoming game because I mean, that's a perfect answer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, with everybody there. Yeah, like you said, invite everybody back. Have the Warren Moon and the Eddie George standing there, and the, you know, oh man, yeah, that's gonna look nice.
Yeah, no, I actually, man, I still remember, you know, I've met Warren Moon, so you know, I would say this: he still looks like he could throw a football and get out there and throw for 300 yards.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, Nick, I saw him in that interview. Was that today or yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I think it was filmed yesterday, but they put it out today. You know, it went everywhere on Twitter today. But anyway, I saw that interview and I was shocked because I was like, man, dude's in great shape, man. I mean, you look at boxers his age, and I mean, or you know, I mean, unfortunately, some football players at his age, they don't hold up like he did, and he took some serious punishment in his day.
Oh, yeah.
He's still, I mean, he's still rocking and rolling, man. Shout out to Warren Moon, dude. Whatever you're eating or doing, man, let us know. We need the Warren Moon diet.
All right. While we still talking about jerseys, can we talk about how ugly the Colts' new alternate uniforms are?
I'll say this. I'll say this about their jerseys.
Nothing about the jersey is alternate.
I'm just, you know, with the jerseys, I couldn't get the, you know, the little material they kind of made it out of. I was like kind of thrown by that part. And, you know, if you ask many Colts fans, they would say they don't like the uniforms either. But one thing that we all probably agree on, the black helmet.
Black helmet's lit.
Kind of nice.
The black helmet is lit. That's the only part of it that I like. The black helmet is lit because the Colts always had white like the whole time they've been the Colts. So the black helmet is lit.
Look, I know y'all both are Southerners, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I'm sure you've heard that old saying, you can't put lipstick on a pig. That's what I feel like they did. They went, oh, we're going to put a black helmet on it.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. And, I mean, it does look nice, but to me, it's not really a retool of the, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just always wonder what's next, you know, and I'm pretty sure, you know, in my opinion, I think every team in the NFL should have a black alternate uniform.
Yeah.
But, you
it's
know,
funny. That's funny because my hometown is the Blue Devils. I coach for the Blue Devils. That's funny.
Somebody said they look like Kroger workers. And they stadium looked like a Kroger. I was dying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a deep hatred, Mike, for the Colts. If there's always that one team in your division that you absolutely hate, and
definitely
it's
the
them.
Colts. Yeah.
And it's because of, you know, they were good. I mean, they owned us for like so many years, Peyton Manning, and then finally we were like, yeah, Peyton Manning's gone, hallelujah, and here comes Andrew Luck and just starts destroying us again. Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, beyond that,
I'll say this, you know, and you'll probably never hear. I like the University of Tennessee. I like them with football. Oh, one thing you'll probably never hear from a University of Tennessee fan is that they like T. Martin over Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I'm that one fan that likes T. Martin over Peyton Manning.
Thank you. The
reason why I like T. Martin over.
Educate about this. Go ahead.
He won an SEC championship. He beat Florida, and he won a national title. Peyton Manning didn't do all three of those, and it took them forever to give him a streak in Knoxville. I cannot believe how long it took for them to give him a streak in Knoxville. And he did more things. You know, I know Peyton Manning did statistical things, but T. Martin won. That's the biggest thing. You won. And he did that. And it took forever for them to give him his respect and his due. up there.
Yeah, and he didn't really even get a fair shot in the NFL because of his injury. I mean, you can't help that. You know what I mean? You blew out of your knee. You know, I mean, that's just bad luck. And yeah, I'm with you on that, Mike.
It is what it is when it comes to injuries. You know, you can't, you know, that's just what it is. And, you know, some players, you know, have that luck and be able to make it and things like that. But, you know, as far as college wise, yeah, he will forever be my favorite quarterback at Tennessee.
Yeah, and I mad respect to Peyton. You know what I mean? Like you said, Matt. I just said the whole reason I hate the Colts starts with Peyton Manning. And a lot of it is because I live in UT country. So a lot of people around here actually don't root for the Titans. They root for the Colts, which is like mind-boggling to me because Peyton Manning hasn't played for the Colts in like 12 years or something like that. Like, let it go, dude. I don't know. But it irritates me.
Can you bring one of those comments up?
Yeah. Which
Cortland
one?
comment?
Cortland.
Oh. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. You know, what's funny, Cortland, is he actually is the wide receivers coach for the Baltimore Ravens now.
Oh, I did not know that.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, he left Tennessee to become the wide receivers coach for the Baltimore Ravens.
That's what's
good
up.
for him.
Yeah, he's coaching. So he's coaching Odell Beckham. He's coaching all those guys that they brought in as weapons this year in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Boy, he's living the life.
That is awesome, man.
Yeah, shout out to T. Martin, man.
Well, yeah, good for him.
Hold up, I got another one for you too that y'all may not know. Y'all know that his son actually is Amari Rodgers, right? That plays in the NFL.
Really?
That's his son. Yeah.
Yes.
They ended up going to Clemson. Yeah, that's his son.
Yeah.
Amari Rodgers. Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not a huge T. Martin fan, but I do know a lot about the dude just because I have to argue his case all the time. Like people, you know, like I said, I have to educate people on that all the time. I'm like, you know, look, you know, you can, you know, I love Peyton Manning. He's a great player. I'm not taking anything away from him. But if you really want to talk about one of the greatest quarterbacks in UT history, you got to put T. Martin's name on there.
Yeah,
because he, you know, I mean, he balled out when he was there. I mean, and people are, oh, well, Peyton Manning, you know, got him there. What are you talking about? Peyton Manning got him there, man. It's the same team. You know what I mean? It's the same team, almost identical team with T. Martin that Peyton Manning had.
I will say this though: the difference is though he did have a lot of horses as freshmen though. You had Jamal Lewis, you had Travis Henry. You had Travis Stevens back there that was like a forgot about running back. You had Sean Bryson. They couldn't play running back. They had to move him to fullback.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you got Travis so many horses and Jamal Charles, I mean, what are you going to, you know?
Then you had who else do you have? You have and then the funny thing that I think is the difference between those two is that in the college level, I'm just talking college people, just to let people know. The difference in them in college is when it came to those clutch moments. In college, Peyton Manning couldn't produce in those clutch moments or big time games. In the big time games with T. Martin produced and he made the big time play when it needed to happen for Tennessee. Well, that's the difference. I'm not saying his entire career that Peyton Manning was not clutch and things like that. He did eventually overcome that and become the guy. Yeah. But in college, no. In those big time moments, he didn't make it happen. T. Martin did.
Yeah, to be honest, that was like one of my arguments with the Colts fans all the time was I was like, yeah, he's a choke artist, man. I mean, he gets you there, but then he can't finish, you know. I mean, that's his biggest problem. He can't get to the end, you know. Yeah. But then he won the Super Bowl, and I was like,
them Peyton Manning fans be ready to kill y'all. They hear y'all saying this crap right here, boy.
Hey, yeah, I'm gonna hear it at work tomorrow. I guarantee it. One or two of these guys is gonna come up to me and be like, "Man, how you gonna diss Peyton Manning on your show like that?" And I didn't diss Peyton Manning.
Send them my way. That's fine.
I said all due respect. All respect to Peyton Manning. I'm not saying nothing bad about him. I'm just talking about how good T. Martin is and what Peyton Manning did in college and what T. Martin did in college. And T. Martin was a better college quarterback. College is a different game too.
I would say this. I'm not going to go as far as say he's a better college quarterback. He was a winner more than Peyton. Peyton was a stats guy, and I'm going to do this. T. Martin was a winner in college. Peyton Manning wasn't exactly the winner he ended up being in pros in college.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
They'll
take it. They'll take it better that way when you tell them that way,
yeah,
as opposed to telling them, yeah. Because if you tell them the other way, man, they're gonna be coming for you, man.
Yeah,
They do. They do. They all hate me anyway because I'm a Georgia fan, and right now they really hate me.
Georgia fan in the Knoxville area.
In Knoxville,
wow. You're a bold man.
Yeah.
See, I was raised in Cookeville, which is like 60 miles west of here. And I don't know what
Cookeville is.
I was gonna say, I don't know what happens when you cross the plateau, but like nobody talks about UT. Nobody cares. Everybody literally, and before we got the Titans, literally everybody just focused on Atlanta Falcons and the Georgia Bulldogs. So I grew up, watching football, primarily the Georgia Bulldogs. And
hold on, I'll say this: in Nashville area, in the mid-state, you probably have a plethora of different fans in terms of you have a ton of UT fans. You do have a ton of UT fans here. That's true. But you do have your Georgias, you have your Florida fans, you have your Alabama fans. They're all here, and you have some Kentucky fans too.
I'm about saying this many Vandy fans too, though. Don't give me.
Yeah, you got some Vandy fans. I can't speak ill on Vandy.
I'll be real with you right now. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't see too many Vanderbilt stickers or flags being flown on cars.
No, you're not gonna see them. You're not gonna see them. They're gonna be here. Nah. They're gonna be high now, but they'll be there.
Oh, that might be that thing around the license plate, though. You know what I mean? It just says like Commodores, or something like that. It's just like a slick, like, hey, I'm down.
Yeah, they in Nashville for sure, though. It's just spread out,
I like Vanderbilt because they're the underdog. I always kind of root for them whenever they're playing, unless they're playing, UT or Georgia. Then I, vote for hometown Georgia.
They do make it a little difficult sometimes.
Well, the SEC is about to get real difficult with the Longhorns coming in and Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's about to get welcomed.
I was gonna say Oklahoma. I think Texas will be all right, but Oklahoma, I think is gonna, because Texas is a big football state, man. I mean, you go to Texas, anywhere in Texas, and it's just like here, or well, not so much here actually, but I mean, there are some really hardcore football areas, and dude, Texas is one of them. You go anywhere in that state, they love football, all things football.
Friday Night Lights is a real thing in a lot of towns.
Oh yeah,
exactly. So it's interesting, to see what they're going to do. But Oklahoma, I think, is they're in for a rude awakening.
They got to get a little bit more physical. They because last year, they did have some former Tennessee players there last year too. So they had Wanye Morris at offensive tackle. Then they had Eric. What is his last name? I can't remember what his last name is. But anyway, the tailback. They used to be at Tennessee that transferred there. So so they did have some UT players there, but they've got to get a little bit more physical. And then also, what's going to be so interesting is now you're going to have the battle for the real UT. UT versus UT. If the SEC marketing program does not pick that up and find a way to market that, man, they need to catch what would make it even better? Catch one UT player with the upside down hook 'em. That would take it to a whole other level there.
Well, and isn't it kind of like orange against orange?
Yeah, you got the UT orange,
different shade, like
a burnt orange against the UT
burnt orange versus
UT
orange.
Yeah, I don't know if that's tan or orange or what color that is exactly. Somebody can fill me in. Maybe
it's their patented burnt orange. It's what it is.
Burnt orange. All right, cool. Yeah. Well, burnt orange against bright orange or big orange. There you go. Burnt orange against big orange.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'll tell you that. But go ahead. I'm sorry, we got off on college football.
I was gonna say we are an NFL podcast here, and we got sidetracked here. So, I really wanted to ask you while I had you on the show, Mike, because you do the show touring the AFC South. So I really want to know your opinion on how much does the game change now that we have DeAndre Hopkins?
Okay.
And are we actually a contender for the AFC or just the AFC South or none?
Okay. All right. I'll handle the first one. It's a game change with DeAndre Hopkins. Now, before DeAndre Hopkins, you had Traylon Burks as your one, you had Kyle Phillips as your two, Chris Moore as your three, and so on, and Nick Westbrook-Kenny and Racey McMath, and I can go on and on in terms of the depth of the Titans wide receivers.
Yeah.
That's what you had at the Titans wide receivers, and then you had Chigaquanko and Wiley at tight end, and you had Spears and Henry at the running back position. I would say with that lineup, you basically can shift your coverage towards Burks, shift your coverage towards Chig, and then basically dare everybody else to do anything. Now you bring in DeAndre, you balance things out, you move Burks to a 2. You put Kyle Phillips and Chris Moore in the slot. Racing McMath and NWI are fighting for catches at this point. You still have Spears, you still have Henry. Tannehill, definitely things get a little easier because now you can make people pay for lining up all them people in the box. In terms of that, it's definitely a game changer for the Titans because it makes people think twice about loading the box. Because no matter what people think about DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, last year he had 700-something yards and he got suspended for 6-7 games.
Yep.
And he didn't remember, folks. He didn't play 6 games, and then he also didn't play 2 at the end of the year. And he still had almost 700 some odd yards receiving.
He still had more receiving yards than any player on the Titans.
That's correct. And then if he'd have played all those games, he'd have been on pace for almost 1,500 yards receiving.
Yep.
So you can tell me he slowed down all you want. He had one year where he got injured, and he's battling injuries out in Arizona. But last year, if he plays all those games, he's over 1,000 yards pretty easily. So, even though people say, hey, receivers come here to die and things like that, they talk about the Carl Pickens, the NC Thigpens, the Randy Mosses, and others here, Andre Johnson when he came here and more. They talk about all those guys, but to me, I think he's in the best position to succeed because one, he's coming into an offense that he knows with Tim Kelly, which for those that don't know, he had 104 catches, which is his career high, with Tim Kelly as his offensive coordinator, and he's also coming into a team that runs the ball really, really well with a revamped offensive line led by Daniel Brunskill, in my opinion, who's going to be the glue of that offensive line from the 49ers.
Oh yeah.
So to me, I think with the run focus, it's going to allow one-on-one coverage sometimes for DeAndre Hopkins. Now, the key thing is can Tannehill produce when that happens? That's going to be huge to watch what happens there. Also, I mean, the defense, I'm not worried about this defense because, you have Jeffrey up front. Big Jeff's going to eat up blocks. You got Harold Landry coming back and Arden Key on the opposite side. You have Aziz, like I mentioned. I think he's going to be all-pro. You do have Byard back there who, he's probably going to play a little. Who knows? He may play angry. He may play satisfied. I don't know. Who knows? But he's always going to be a good player. The biggest thing with the Titans is cornerback position.
Boom.
Boy, oh boy. That's going to be something to watch right there. Now, can McCreary step up and learn the lessons from what he did last year? Can Fulton be healthy and be the guy he was in the first few games, which he was a very good corner in the first few games? And also, can Sean Murphy Bunting, he had a good year for the Tampa Bay, the year they won the Super Bowl, then the next year kind of, back and forth. So I think he may be the guy. If he's the guy and one of those other two step up on the outside, maybe you throw Elijah Moulton in the slot, then you have a solid secondary. Hopefully with that for the Titans, that happens. If that doesn't happen, you might have some problems back there and you might be, striking up the band just a few too many times.
Before we move on, while we talking about the secondary, how you feel about how's your honest feeling about Caleb Farley, Mike Patton?
Honestly, I did not like the draft pick. When I saw the draft happen, I was like, oh, they realized this guy broke his back in college, right? It's the first thing I said. But I don't wish any harm upon him. I hope he heals. I hope he comes out there and basically shows everyone that doesn't believe in him wrong. But at this point, he can't stay healthy. And when he is in the game, he kind of guesses a little bit too much as a defensive back. He's got all the ability in terms of the size, the measurables, things like that. But he has to learn how to play the game and not just guess the game sometimes, because he guesses the game sometimes and it's burnt him a few times. during his time he's been in there, which, by the way, it hasn't been a lot, but, just the times he's been in there, he's been burnt. So, that's what I would say. So, I wish him well, but it just hasn't turned out well for him so far. Like, unfortunately, some of the other first-round picks from the Titans, i.e. Isaiah Wilson, while he's working on that recording contract. And by the way, I think he got suspended, and he's not even on the roster right now by the NFL for something. And I was like, wow, I didn't know you could. I knew you could be suspended by not being on the roster, but I wasn't even thinking about him till that happened.
John Robinson, man. Robinson.
Let me get to the second part of your question, too.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, is them being a contender, I'll say this. They're definitely a contender for the AFC South. The jury's still out if they can be a contender in the AFC in general. Because, you have to figure out, can they be explosive offensively? Can they shut down teams when they need to shut them down? Can they win a game without Derrick Henry going just crazy in the backfield? Those questions need to be answered before I can say, hey, they can be a contender in the AFC. Now, do they have the ability to be a contender? Yes, they do, contrary to what many believe. Now, the question is, can they put that into action on the field? That's what I want to see.
Hey, that's a very good answer. I like that. I'm a prove it guy too. I like, that's what I say all the time. People ask me what I think of a player. I'm like, well, from what I've seen so far, because I'm a prove it guy until I know who you are. Just like with Rand Carthon, when they hired him, I was like, I don't really know who Rand Carthon is, so I started doing some background
I know exactly
checks.
who he was.
Well, I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm a fan, and I dig deep, but I don't dig deep enough to get into front offices of other teams and stuff like that, especially not outside of the AFC South.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
As soon as they hired the guy, I'm a Titans guy, like I said, I'm all things Titans. So as soon as they hired him, I start digging into him and finding out he's an analytics guy, and he's big on draft. He started off, I think, as a scout. So I was like, okay, I like
the
all
Atlanta Falcons, actually.
Yeah, I was like, I like exactly what I'm hearing. This all sounds good. Now let's see what he does. And then the free agency acquisitions came in, and I was like, okay, not bad. I see what you're kind of riding the line here, but cool, whatever. And then the draft happened, and gut reaction to the draft, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really like. Then I went back over it as I do with everything else I analyzed, and I started noticing RES scores and the athleticism and the analytics that go behind it. And I was like, okay, all right. So now I'm starting to see a picture of what Rand Carthon's trying to do, and then, now that DeAndre Hopkins stuff has happened, got Will Levis signed right before camp. I feel like, we're going to maybe see in the preseason what we've got, because maybe George Fant wants a little bit more than we're willing to give him or whatever. Obviously that's the case because they didn't sign a deal, but, I think we're going to just hope that he's still there, because, he put out a video today, I think, of him working out with some bags. And I think that was a direct shot at the Titans for not picking him up. But, hey, I can't blame the guy. I'd want to do the same thing. You didn't like my interview. Let me show you a little bit more. But, right now for me, Rand Carthon is like A++. Like I said, with Cortland last week, I think I see him walking away from explosions with music playing, and he's just strutting in slow motion, because dude's handling his business. And not only is he handling his business, but he's doing it in style. I mean, he handles himself with such professionalism. He looks the part. He actually looks better the part. Like I said, I enjoy his fashion, which is weird, but I do, I mean, I do, when I see somebody who dresses nicely, I'm like, man, that guy's got nice fashion, I appreciate that guy's fashion,
I'll say this though about Rand, real G's move in silence, and he knows he don't talk a lot.
Yeah.
All I can tell you.
That's what I'm saying, man. He is just, dude is on point, man, and I'm telling you, I haven't been this excited in a long time, and it's not even really for this season. I mean, I am excited now for this season, now that we got D-Hop and everything, and like you said, way more opportunity of winning. But
yeah, for sure.
I am excited for next off season when he has a lot of money to play with instead of just like 20 something mil. He's got like 120 something mil,
Yeah.
or about 106, I think now. But
I can guarantee you that if Aziz has a good season this year, he's going to be the first guy to get an extension.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
I mean, like, just to give an example, the deal with Andre Dillard, it's so intelligent. The contract is a very low risk contract because we can get out of it. If he plays like crap this year, we can get out of it next year and not owe him a dime.
Yeah.
But if he plays great this year, we still got him under contract for little money.
Right.
So it just, you see all these things, you know what I mean? You go back, you look, just when you put it all together, it's like, wow, man, like me and Cortland were talking about it on the last show, but we were excited to get John Robinson just because we had been stuck with Floyd Reese and, salary cap hell and all that, trash. But we finally got rid of him. We were just excited to have somebody who had some ideas and some change. And then Amy Adams comes in, and just completely revamps everything. I mean, I think John Robinson was her first hire or whatever, but it shows the change. You know what I mean? And now you see Rand Carthon come in, and it's just a huge step forward.
Right. Right. One thing I'll also tell you too is you skipped over one of the other GMs. That would be Rustin Webster. I know y'all.
Oh yeah, Rooster. Yeah, I forgot about Rooster, man. But
he might have been more terrible than Floyd Reese.
He was forgettable though. You know what I mean? He had a couple good picks. I think.
Well, Floyd drafted Steve McNair and Eddie George, so I can't necessarily pile him.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was talking about Rooster. But yeah,
I know, man. I'm picking.
I think he drafted Michael Ruse though, and for me, he's probably my favorite left tackle that's ever played for the Titans.
Didn't he play what? How many years did he play before he retired?
11.
11. Okay, I don't know. I don't know why my mind was thinking he played shorter than that. So,
well, a lot of people actually overlook him, I think, because Taylor Lewan was right there, ready to step in, and he was so good when he stepped in that people were just like, it's okay. We don't really need Michael Ruse, and he, in the off season, he was like injured still. And so it just kind of worked out that he retired. But yeah, I think it was 11. Now you got me questioning myself, but I think it was 11.
Well, didn't mean to do that.
I always question myself because unless I have it sitting in front of me or something I just looked up or something I just know, I'd say, well, I think it's somewhere around here, but I'm not really 100% sure. But I'm always close.
Got you. Okay.
All right. So fan segment time, and quick fan segment time because we gotta wrap this up.
Yep. Yeah,
I don't know what this is about, Flame. Can you address this?
What? What day? We might have to block him. What the hell?
I can't even put up the other comment. He left, so we're just gonna leave it at that. Oh my goodness! Wow,
we got some weirdos in the fan segment tonight.
I was gonna say I don't know how we attract.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is a very good comment though. It's a very long comment, but I like the way he starts off right there because those three things he says right there in the very beginning are three giant improvements: Landry, Hopkins, Skoronski. Those are huge improvements over what we had last year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we didn't mention a particular gentleman, and I'm pretty sure I don't want to mention his name, so I'm not going to say it either.
Dennis Daly.
I don't know what you said. I didn't even hear you.
Yeah. Real quick though, I do have to say the McCreary thing. I wanted to touch on that. His heads up play. the one play that he made where he's going out of bounds, he catches the
Throw it
ball,
back,
he's
yeah.
in the
He
air,
threw
and
it back
threw it back
against the
to
Chargers.
Josh Kalu.
Yeah,
That right there gives me so much hope for Roger McCreary
yeah,
because he is football intelligent or he's just instinctually good. Either
yeah,
way, I'm cool with that. Like I said, I'd rather be lucky than good a million times over.
for sure.
So that's what gives me good hope for him in his second year and his big leap. I hope he's one of the big leaps that happens this year.
I mean, he did some things that made me frustrated a couple times, but he was a rookie, so I mean, what do you expect? But I'm looking for him, Sean Murphy Bunting. Like I said, cornerback is probably going to be one of our weakest spots on defense, but I'm liking what we got to start off. You know what I'm saying?
I don't really see it as a weakness, to be honest. I mean, as long as we stay healthy, Kristen Fulton, I really think is going to step up this season if he can stay on the field, and
Yes.
he produces pretty good numbers anyway. And Sean Murphy Bunting, I mean, he's not bad. You know what I mean?
Speaking,
I don't think so. I think honestly, he's going to be our number one corner probably.
yeah.
And then Roger McCreary or Elijah Molden or whoever you want, makes great. I know, man. Makes great slot
Ends
corners.
up
So,
plays.
yeah, and or safety. Either way, Elijah Molden, he's one of those flex guys that I think the Titans love. But
Speaking of staying on the field, Mike, do you think the injury bug is finally gonna leave us alone? Like we had it for 2 years straight. Do you think it's gone finally, man? It's been killing us, bro.
I would like to say yes, but I can't say that confidently. I just have to. We
Man.
just have to see how it goes. But hey, the Titans have proven year after year that they can kind of overcome those things, except for last year, obviously. But
Right.
so we'll see how it goes. But hey, injuries are going to happen. That's
Yeah,
just
for sure.
football.
that is true. All right. Any last thoughts before we wrap it up?
I just want to say thank you all for having me on the show, and thank you for I guess the questions and everything. And that's all I got.
Hey, man, we really appreciate you coming on the show. We'd like to have you on again if you wanted to come sometime.
Hey,
Just let me know.
for sure during the season or something.
I apologize for Flames audio. We'll get him some new speakers or something. It'll be cool. But anyway, let them know where they can find you at, man, on social media, where they can watch touring the AFC South.
Well, you can find me on social media on is it X now or is it still Twitter? But anyway, you can find me on whatever it is at Mike Patton 82. That's MikePatton 82. Of course, you can find me on Instagram and Threads at that's THA, not THE _general_MP. And of course, touring the AFC South on all listening platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and YouTube as well. And of course, now we've got gear. As you see, I'm wearing my Touring the AFC South shirt here. We do have, I do have an actual store. Just look up Touring the AFC South on Teespring. And I have all different logos, different colors for all different teams in the AFC South, along with the black and white one, black and red one. We went a little bananas with it, is all I can say.
Well, Titans ain't the only one that's got some threads out.
Right.
Right.
All right, Flame, let them know where they can find you at, man.
Hey, Flame Douglas on Facebook, on Twitter, Flame_615. Come follow your boy. We'll keep up with us. We post updates about the show, about the podcast. Just come follow me.
And as always, you can find me, as you see on the screen, Maximus_Titan_fan, pretty much anywhere that's Twitter or whatever they're calling it now, X, Twitter, whatever, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all of them. You can find me there. Or you can also follow the Titans Fan Battle Podcast on Twitter and Facebook as well. We thank you for joining us tonight. You guys have a good evening, and we'll see you around.